Going to Erev Shabbos. This week's parsha is Parshas Bahar. Right now in Vayikra 25:17. The Torah tells us a very important mitzvah. Each of you shall not aggrieve his fellow, and you shall fear your God, for I am Hashem. And Rashi tells us, what's this referring to? This is referring to onas dvarim, painful words, hurtful words. Saying something painful to somebody, causing somebody pain, certainly with verbally, is a bona fide Aveira in the Torah, one of the 613. It includes not to pain people, not to give them advice which is not appropriate for them because it's expedient for you. And therefore, person gives someone advice. Person thinks, the person I gave advice probably thinks that I gave him my best. He doesn't realize that I was benefiting myself. That's why the Torah says, each of you shall not aggrieve his fellow, and you shall fear your God, for I am Hashem. The Mishnah in Bava Metzia lists some of the classic examples. Don't walk into a store. It's a continuum. The low end, don't walk into a store and ask the storekeeper. It's not so common with the large stores, the salesman doesn't care, but you go to a small business, and the second you walk in the store, the proprietor is hopeful for a sale. And you ask him, how much is this, how much is that? And you're window shopping, you have no intention of buying. And when you walk out, the person's crushed. The person's crushed, but the person's disappointed. You raised expectations for no reason, for your own curiosity. That is restricted. On the high end, if a person did something truly embarrassing in their youth, they did something they're ashamed of. At 18, the guy, an armed robbery. Now they're 55 years old, living an upstanding lifestyle. So of course you can't tell anybody about it. That's Lashon Hara. But what if you're talking to the person one-on-one? That's not Lashon Hara. Says the Torah, do not aggrieve your friend. Do not cause tsar. Do not cause pain to another Jew. Do not remind him of what he used to be involved in. That is restricted under this mitzvah. And it seems a bit overwhelming not to hurt people, not to say there's hazing, there's bullying, but then there's just teasing friends. How do you get out of that cycle of just teasing and meeting old friends and reminding them of embarrassing things that they may have once done? So the way to break the cycle, the best defense is good offense. And the Zohar warns us in Parashat Tetzaveh, the Zohar says something powerful. We expect to be held accountable for things that we said, painful things that we said. It says the Zohar, you're accountable for positive things, encouraging things that you didn't say. There's so many opportunities, it costs us nothing to make a person feel like $1 million. How easy is it to say something, a small compliment, which a person can remember 30, 40 years later, it could warm their heart when they're going through a difficult time. These things are common. With a little bit of pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone, we can definitely be building people up instead of tearing them down. And this is really the goal of this mitzvah, not just to avoid hurtful words, but to use our speech in a constructive way, use it in a powerful way. A famous story, we know that the yeshiva is always focused. The yeshiva, the Jewish community, always focused on the study of Talmud, the halacha, studying Talmud and its commentaries. That was the bread and butter of the Jewish people, the people of the book. But Rabbi Yisrael Salanter in the 1800s began to create a focus also on ethical studies. Now these works that he introduced were not new. They were always studied individually. All he did was make them part of the yeshiva curriculum. What was the catalyst? So they say there was a story. There was a shoemaker in Lithuania who had a career as a shoemaker and then managed to get himself ahead and become a very successful businessman until he was the wealthiest person in town. And he became involved in all of the town's affairs and all communal matters where he was fully involved and fully engaged. And his daughter got married, and as expected, all the prominent people were there. The rabbis from the entire region were all there. the bankers, the lawyers, the mayor, all the distinguished people were there. After the chuppah, everybody comes forward. All the important people come forward to wish him mazel tov. And he's distinguished. He's wearing a top hat. He looks very elegant. And a fellow comes over to him with a shoe and asks him, maybe you can find some time to repair my shoes. This person, what did he do? He embarrassed him. He reminded him of his humble past. He's the most important person in town. He reminded him of his humble past. What did this person gain from it? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. This is the perniciousness of painful words. We don't gain anything and we tear people down. So therefore he realized that it's time for a bit of a focus and to introduce the study of Musar, of ethical development, into the yeshiva curriculum. Okay, have a good Shabbos. If any corrections, comments, additions, all welcome at Naftali Prager at yahoo.com, NaftaliPrager at yahoo.com. A good Shabbos, a restful Shabbos to everyone.